All right, part two. I'm going to start by saying I've added about 200 games. I just went through games and through the first 100 pages and just added games that I have played before. Wait a second. Do I have Persona 3? I played FES. Oh, okay, I mentioned that I played it. Okay, sorry. But yeah, most of these games that I added to 200 games, they are games that I've played a little bit of or actually have played. Most of them I've not given a star rating, like Armored Core 6. I have played it for about 4 hours, but that's not enough to rate it anything. Same with Animal Well. Origami was a long time ago. So I'll go over some of these that I missed in the first video. 3D Pinball Space Cadet. I mean, come on, if you were there, you were there. Absolver is an awesome fighting game where it's kind of like God Hand, which we'll talk about probably next episode. You can customize every move that your character throws out. Super modular fighting system, and there's all kinds of different fighting styles. Like there's Drunken Fist, there's Super Diligent, there is weapon fighting. It says online melee action. I've only played the single player portion, which was awesome and fantastic. But yeah, great game. I noticed in the last video I should probably keep these a little shorter my descriptions, because I don't know, just kind of the stream of consciousness that I'm doing with this kind of video. Often I can't express everything that I feel about the game. Like I watched part 1 back and I was like, oh, I wish I mentioned this, or I wish I mentioned that, but that's just the nature of going just off the top and not having a script. So yeah, if it feels like my thoughts on these games are pretty superficial, it's because I'm not thinking of any of these beforehand. This is all off the top. But Advance Wars, one of the first games I played on my Game Boy Advance when I got my new Game Boy Advance in 2020. Awesome little strategy game, super hard. I think it was like the second or third mission I got stuck on for like hours, and it took forever, and I finally beat it, and then I haven't played it since. But really fun. Yeah, great game. And there's a remaster on Switch. So Air Car, I didn't mention this is a VR game. It is, I just have YouTube pulled up to show like footage of these games, like Air Car. Okay, Air Car VR. Super simple concept of a game. You're in a flying car that just like goes around the cyberpunk city, but man, does it feel cool. And you operate the car. This is the whole game. There's no story or anything, but more of a tech demo, if you want to describe it as that. 7 years ago is when it came out, but it's so cool. I wish there was a game called Lo-Fi that was supposed to come out for VR. That's kind of like this, but it's like a full-on game. But yeah, this is a really cool game. I loved it. AVP, this is I don't know how many of the Aliens games or the Alien versus Predator games did this, where you can play as the Marines, the Predators, and the Alien. I remember when I played this, I just played as the Alien, and it was so cool. Like climbing, oh, there's deathmatch. Apparently there's multiplayer to this game, but no, it was so cool. Like crawling on walls, even though you get motion sick really easily, and it's a little clunky playing against the alien, but once you got it, it's really cool. And I mean, the Predator, if I remember correctly, was more so like a stealth game, like a stealth first person, and then the Marine campaign was straight up like an action game. But yeah, really cool game. It's on PS2 360. I think it's climbing in price recently, but Amazing Spider-Man, all I remember about this game is that I really liked the web swinging. It had a certain kind of camera angle that just made it seem really cool, really fun. I don't remember much of the combat, but I was a fan of the movie at the time, so that's why I got it. Any notable ones? Animal Well. I don't like Metroidvanias, which this is, and I put maybe an hour and a half into it. I don't think I'm going to go back to it. Simply not for me. Origami. This is a stealth game. Never played the sequel. Don't remember much about it. Can't speak on it. Armored Core 6. I mentioned this in the last episode. I played it for about 4 or 5 hours. My brother let me borrow it, and then I had to give it back. But from what I played, it was really fun. Again, I loved the first one. I'm sure if I played this more, it'd be at least an 8, maybe a 9. I don't think it could be a 10 for me. But again, I haven't played all of it. The Ascent is a really cool cyberpunk setting. You can't really call it a Diablo clone, or like it is an ARPG certainly, but there's no super in-depth loot system. It's a cover-based like ARPG where you press shift or control, whatever it was, and you can go behind cover. Or no, I think you automatically went behind cover, and it's mainly about just choosing a build. Again, very, very simple mechanics, but a lot of fun. And this is a beautiful game. I think the Ascent was only made by maybe 11 or 12 people. Hold on. Like, and the environments in this game are stunning, and it just looks incredible. Super fun game, and it's co-op, so definitely recommend it. Any notable ones? The Attack on Titan game was pretty fun. Arizona Sunshine is like super early VR game, 2016. A remake recently came out. I played it last year. It's fine. It's a single player zombie shooter. Nothing too special. BattleBit Remastered, played a couple matches, seemed fine, but I wouldn't rate it really high. Anything else? Beat Saber, 5-star, one of the best VR games, especially modded. Bionic Commando, I do want to mention this. Bionic Commando, this dude's crazy. Abandoned, yeah, he's just bad at the game. This game, it's a third-person action game based on, of course, the 2D platformer on the NES, but the main mechanic is your grappling hook. And in third person, it was so satisfying traversing this world with this grappling hook, and the multiplayer was so sick because it's just people with grappling hooks swinging around the map, and you could dive backwards. We all know the exaggerated swagger of a black teen and the dive that Miles Morales does. You're doing that all the time in Bionic Commando, and there's just so much aura. Awesome game. 2.7, criminally underrated. Really, really cool game. Blade and Sorcery, one of my favorite VR games. You'll see clips of this and people will just be like mutilating humans, and you're like, God, those people are crazy. Wait till you put on, just wait till you don the mask. Okay, when you play this game, you become a sadistic like serial killer. It is so much fun, and 1.0 just dropped. There's like a whole story mode, which is pretty simple. It's procedurally generated dungeons, but it's there. But God, the Outer Rim mod, which was the Star Wars mod, oh, it added so much Star Wars content, like maps, weapons, NPCs. Awesome game, and this is one I always come back to. Boneworks, this is probably my second or third favorite VR game. It really plays on the, I don't know, what makes this one unique is that you have a full body, and there's a lot of physics puzzles, and the physics engine is really, really good. Everything feels really, really good to control. And I don't know, like there's levels, each of them has like their own unique gimmick. Like there's one where you're just climbing a huge tower, and climbing in VR is one of the most fun things you can do in VR, aside from shooting a bow and arrow. But yeah, awesome VR game. Brawl Stars, I played this last August when I was in London. Some of my friends and I, we took some classes in London, and this is the game we played on our phones, both in and out of class. So yeah, just good memories with this game, and it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun mobile game. My friends were so much more addicted to it than I was. I wasn't really addicted, but they would play it all the time. Anything else? Carmageddon, I played this on my phone in like middle school. I don't remember much about it. I know that like you can run over people, and that was really cool as a middle schooler. Yeah, like I knew it's based on an older game. Yeah, this is it. Just super fun. Okay, this dude. Yeah, I remember playing this like on the bus ride home or something like that. There were lots of games like that. Like I would get on my iPod Touch, but very simple, very fun game. Castlevania I've played a little bit of, didn't complete it. Contractors and Contractors Exfil Zone. This is Tarkov in VR, and it works pretty well right now. It's in an alpha, I think, either alpha or a beta, but it is really good for an alpha. And Contractors VR is the Call of Duty of VR, and it's really known for its mod support. Like you could play Battlefront 2, the PS2 versions, and like they have all these modded weapons and modded maps, and it's like you're really playing Battlefront 2 in VR. Same thing for like Team Fortress 2, and Halo has its own mods where you're essentially playing those games in VR. So yeah, arguable 5 out of 5 just based on the mods. Base game, it's like, you know, it's fine. It's a 7 or an 8. Crackdown series, I loved Crackdown 1. When I played this when I was really young. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much now, but I remember really liking Crackdown 2, because the biggest switch is that you're facing zombies, or just monsters. I think it's zombies, but it added more stuff. I always thought of Crackdown 2 as like an expansion to Crackdown 1. And Crackdown 3 I played maybe 2 years ago. Awful. It's just not fun in any way, but it made me wonder, would I feel the same about Crackdown 1 and 2? And I don't know. I mean, I may need to try these. I think I have both of them. Cry of Fear is an awesome horror game. I've actually not played it. Well, I have played it, but I ended up watching Pyrocynical's video on it. And I remember I mentioned this last episode with Asura's Wrath. It's not common for me to rate games that I've seen someone play. This is another instance of that, and I know there's at least one more in the H's that will come up later as well. But super cool horror game made by one person. It's a Half-Life mod, I think. But yeah, I would check it out. Danny Phantom Urban Jungle, purely a game from my childhood on the DS. I thought it was the coolest thing when I was a kid, but looking back, I know this is no higher than like a 2.5. It's a shoot 'em up. It's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. But yeah, nothing special. Daxter, I played a little bit on PSP. It runs like absolute dog shit on PSP, so I never finished it. May go back and play it someday. I'm thinking of doing a Jack and Dexter marathon. Days Gone, I played a little bit of on PS5. Wasn't impressed. Thought it was fine. I may go back and try it sometime in the future. Oh, dude, DC Universe Online. I remember playing this. I don't know. I could not tell you when. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a super cool MMO. I think because it was free. Yeah, it was free. But no, like, I think there was like super speed, and you could choose either super speed, flight, or super jump, and I chose super speed because you could run up walls. I thought that was cool. Probably should have just chosen flight, but yeah, I thought this game was great when I played it, but obviously I haven't played it in forever. So, oh no, this is where we stopped. Okay, so yeah, we stopped at Darkwood. So yeah, perfect. So now we'll be moving on with new stuff. And if I have any notable additions, I'll go back to them, but the first 100 pages, this should be all that I add in the future. Dead Cells. So I beat Dead Cells maybe 2 years ago is when I gave it a shot. I did a full run through, beat it pretty quickly, and then I did another run through on the next difficulty. And then like New Game Plus 2, whatever that setting is, just kicked my ass, dude. And I couldn't do it, but it was fun enough. You know, I got through 2 playthroughs. 4 out of 5 seems totally fine. I don't know if retired is correct, but fine enough roguelike. The Dead Rising trilogy. Dead Rising 1, I don't have too much experience with. I think I played it on PC on Steam when I was, oh, maybe I was like 16 or something, because it was, yeah, I think around 16 is when I played Dead Rising 1 and 2. Loved Dead Rising 1. I never beat it. Dead Rising 2 I thought it was better than Dead Rising 1. I did end up beating this. Now, of course, the fact that everything's on a timer is a little annoying, but once Dead Rising 3 came out on the Xbox One, I got an Xbox One on launch. So I got all 3 games for Christmas. Dead Rising 3, Rise Son of Rome, Forza Motorsport 5. This is the one I played the most. I thought Dead Rising 3 was so much fun, because yeah, it's a little more gritty or realistic, but I mean, these games, like, unless you're really looking into the weeds of them and like trying to find issues, I think they're all really good. They all do the same thing. I've not played Dead Rising 4, but they're just fun. They're fun, simple games. Definitely give them a try. Dead Rising Remake, I don't know why you'd ever want to buy the remake. You can just buy the first one. Dead Space 1, I never beat. I got a couple hours into, and then I just put it down, but I do plan on playing the remake relatively soon. Dead Space 2, it's been a long time since I've played Dead Space 2. I'll admit it. This 5-star, I may have to audit this eventually, but from what I remember, I beat it really quick. And from what I've seen online and people talking about it, that in conjunction with my gut feeling, I have no issue giving this a 5 out of 5. Some fantastic scenes even today. I still remember, of course, the baby necromorphs, the eye scene with the needle. That's a classic scene. But yeah, Dead Space 2 is a 5 fair. I don't know. I probably need to replay it before I give it a definitive 5, but I'll keep it there for now. Deathloop. I've beaten Deathloop twice. On my first playthrough, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 5. My second playthrough is when I got all the achievements, and this was like a year and a half after the first playthrough. I love Deathloop. I think it's super cool. It's a super interesting concept, replaying the day over and over again, trying to get it right so that you can end the day. You know, it's your own Groundhog Day essentially. And the multiplayer aspect was, you know, okay, but no, just the concept itself is really sold me. And I know people will say this game's like overrated, or, you know, this got, it's weird because I remember critics really liked this game and then people had a huge problem with that. I don't remember why, but no, Deathloop's awesome. I would definitely give it a try. The whole gimmick, in case you don't know, or its whole, yeah, let's call it a gimmick, is that the day repeats itself. You're stuck in this endless loop and you have to figure out how to break the day. And there's like 4 or 5 different areas you can go to. And when you go to an area, it takes up, you know, the morning, and then there's noon, and then there's the evening, and then there's night. And at each point, at each timeline, in each different location, something different happens. And you piece together how to break the day by going to different places at different times. And eventually, once you figure it all out, there's a very specific pattern you have to follow. You have to go to here during the day and do this, then this, then this, and this, and this, and this. And it's such a sick concept. I love Deathloop. I think it's one of Arcane does have Dishonored and Prey. Like Arcane, such a tragedy that they've gone under, all because of, I forgot what the game's called. What is this game called? Redfall. That's it. Redfall. All because of that one game they've been shut down, and they were one of the best in the business. But hopefully they'll make a return some way. Okay, I spent way too much time on Deathloop. Death Stranding. I'm surprised the community is giving this a 4 out of 5. I am super excited for Death Stranding 2. I played this in, must have been 2021, because I played it on PS5. I played a lot of the PS4 games on my list on PS5, because I could not play on the PS4. Frame rate was awful. I thought everything looked really, really muddy. But with the PS5, it fixed a lot of those issues. So Death Stranding, I beat this game really, really quick. I loved just going from point A to point B. I thought it was very therapeutic. The story was, of course, crazy. It's a Hideo game. And well, I say that, and people say that like, oh, it's Hideo, so it's crazy. And they point to Metal Gear Solid and all the Metal Gear Solid's really about like fourth wall breaks. There's not a lot of like crazy stuff in Metal Gear Solid. And I can speak on that because I'm playing through all of them, and I've played through all of them except for 5 and Acid 1 and 2 and Portable Ops, but those are non-canon. But I think this is really the game that's kind of cemented Hideo as this like really off the walls, like crazy storytelling, really, I don't know what you want to call it, not really meta in a way, but again, just really crazy storytelling. This is the game that's kind of cemented Hideo with that title or that assumption. Whereas before he just did quirky gameplay mechanics. I'm shocked really that the most popular ratings are 4 and 5, that there's this many 5-star ratings. Now I will play this again before Death Stranding 2 comes out, so I'll play this year at some point, but I am excited to I may need to prop this up to a 9, but I'll play it again, reevaluate then. Deep Rock Galactic, played with my friends, now admittedly not for very long, but the time we did play, I thought it was really fun. I think I enjoyed it the most out of my friends and I think it's a really cool concept. I think it's, obviously you're looking at Left 4 Dead similarities or Vermintide similarities, but it really is kind of its own thing. But yeah, super fun game on co-op. I think it's like $10 if you're looking for something to play with your friends. Def Jam Fight for New York, I have played this. I couldn't tell you anything about it. It's expensive, everyone knows that, but I remember when I did play it, I thought it felt kind of clunky. It didn't feel very smooth to play, but again, that may be like an hour and a half of total gameplay, so I can't speak too much on it. I've not played the Def Jam Icon PS3 demo. I loved the PS3 demo, where you can you could hold the button, and I'll just pull it up. Ludacris versus Mike Jones. Yeah, okay, he did it. So you could bring up what is it called? Like a scratch table or a DJ, imagine a DJ booth, and scratch CDs in mid-air. And if you scratched it a certain way, it would use this huge boom and it would affect the environment. Like, that's so sick. That is so sick, dude. Now, is the fighting actually good? Probably not. But the PS3 demo was the, okay. I mean, they're playing like this music the whole time. I love it. I kind of want to play this game again. But yeah, I've just played the demo. A little peek behind the curtain there for y'all. Let's see. Delta Force, played this recently. Totally fine. I had no issue with it. We played it for maybe 3-4 hours. It's Battlefield. It's fun. Maybe it's close to like a 7 or an 8. I think it does everything well. Now they did just release the Backloggd Down extension. If you don't know, this is a PS2 game, I believe. Yeah. Delta Force has been around forever. I didn't know they had this many games. I've only heard of this one before. But the Backloggd Down expansion is a single player only, super realistic, like military shooter, as if you were in the Backloggd Down situation. I may try that out. That may be pretty cool. So he's talking about Xi Jinping, which is he completed Delta Force. I guess I have too. Sure. But yeah, fun enough. The Demon Souls remake, I've not played the original. This is the remake. This is the second game I played on PS5. No, it's the third. I played Spider-Man on PS5. A replay of Spider-Man remastered. But I thought this game was super easy. And I don't know, like, sure, it looks pretty. I think a 4 is pretty generous. I don't know if it's unplayable garbage either. Well, that was pretty awesome. Okay, dude. Again, there was only one boss I had an issue with, and I think it was the final boss. Like, I died to him like 3 times, and then that was it. But this game is kind of boring, but it has such solid foundations. You're kind of okay with it being boring. It's a game you definitely just run through. You just run through this game like, oh, that was cool. 3 out of 5, sure. Destiny. Have not played too much Destiny. Played it a bit on 360. Wait, this game was on 360, right? Yeah, I think I played it on 360. Like maybe a beta or something. And then I did play a little bit of Destiny 2. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I really should just like get rid of this. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I didn't play nearly enough to give it a rating. Although I should be playing Destiny 2 shortly. I'll be trying that out. Detroit Become Human, played maybe an hour of it. Couldn't tell you anything. Okay, Deus Ex Game of the Year Edition. I played the Game of the Year Edition. Do they have a separate entry for Game of the Year Edition? No. Okay. So yeah, this game rocks. This is probably a top 30 game all time for me. Top 30, maybe top 40. I don't know, but fantastic game. Again, it came out, I don't think it came out in 2000. I thought it came out in 1999. Okay, I guess I'm wrong. But yeah, 2000. Super, like, yeah, it's an old game. Still plays fantastic today. The story is really cool. Once I picked it up, I think I played, God, like, how long did it take me? It took me like 26 hours, I think. Hold on, I have it right here. 24 hours was my playthrough, and I never got bored. I went for like a stealth, like hacker build, which is probably the prototypical build for this game. But look at how many 5-star reviews there are, dude, in comparison to everything else. Like, this is definitely one of the better games of all time. Yeah, fantastic game. I wish more people would give it a try. So, Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. Honestly, it has been a long time since I've played Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, for that matter. I remember these being fantastic video games. Like, especially Mankind Divided. I think I liked it a little bit more than Human Revolution. I especially enjoyed in Mankind Divided. I think you're in Prague? I don't know. You're in like Prague or France, and it's like open zone-ish. There's a recurring area you come back to, similar to Game of the Year Edition, the first Deus Ex. But I think there was there really was a lot of ways to tackle your objectives in Mankind Divided. I don't remember that being the case as much in Human Revolution, but again, I played this probably in 2013, so definitely need to check back on Human Revolution. I feel totally comfortable giving Mankind Divided a 4.5 out of 5. Okay, the Devil May Cry series, I just did a marathon on all these games, so this may have to be, oh man, that's, yeah, I think I will put it up to a 5. Will I? No. Well, this is better than Balatro. Yeah, this is better than Balatro. Yeah, okay. So we'll start with the first one, Devil May Cry. God, I mean, it's fine. This 3.5, okay, interesting. You could probably convince me to drop it to a 3. It is super simple. And once I learned that you can cancel your attack combo into, like, obviously his standard combo is 1, 2, 3. You attack 3 times, but if you do 1, 2, and then do a half rotation on the left stick, you do a half rotation, not locked on, it cancels. It resets you, and you can just do 1, 2, cancel, 1, 2, cancel, 1, 2, cancel. And it's like you do tons of damage that way. And once you get the grenade launcher, the whole game becomes kind of a walkthrough. But again, I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I played it on the PlayStation 2. The castle was interesting enough. The missions, like some of them were like genuinely 20 seconds long. Definitely a rough game, but you know, it has some charm to it. DMC 2 is like probably top 3 worst games I've ever played in my life. This is pretty high, a 1.6. The only reason I don't give it a half star is because it works. Super boring. No one cares about the story. The combat sucks. You can do whatever you want. People say the guns are OP. You can do whatever you want. Now the reason guns are OP is because you don't have to be next to the enemy, and it's just as much damage as doing a sword attack. But yeah, like, oh god, this game. I did not play the second disc where you play as the chick and you play basically the same missions, but she has some different bosses. I think the bosses suck, the enemies suck, the world sucks, but Dante does have one really cool, you know what, I gave it a 1 star because he has one line that is super sick at the end of the game, where this dude saying he's like the king of curses, and he's yelling at Dante and says, well, here's your crown, and he shoots him in the head. It was super sick. And surprisingly enough, the final boss is actually decent in this game. That's like the one redeeming characteristic, is the final boss. Devil May Cry 3, it's close, 4.5 or 5. This is my second favorite Devil May Cry. This is probably one of the most important sequels of all time, because you had Devil May Cry, which like kind of invented the whole character action genre, and then you have DMC 2, which just sucks. And if DMC 3 was like mid, I don't think you get a DMC 4 or 5. Again, so much style, so much flair. There are so many awesome moments with just Dante in this game, and then Virgil is a super cool villain. The fact that you can change weapons on the fly, which I don't know if I think you could do that in 2 actually, and maybe 1. But the style system was awesome. I mainly used Swordmaster because I like combos, and on the Switch, the only version of Devil May Cry 3 that you can switch styles immediately is the Switch version. And because again, that got introduced in Devil May Cry 4, which, what did I pick? Oh, special edition. But yeah, the story, you know, it's fine, but the characters are really cool. You get introduced to Lady. Yeah, Lady in DMC 3. She's really cool. A lot of cool set pieces. Fantastic combat. It's close. It's close because I know it's. I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil it. It's not really close to Devil May Cry 5. I think 5 is in like its own league, but it's better than Balatro. You know what? No, okay. Executive decision. This is why we do this. The SEC requires us to do an audit every single year, and it's for this purpose. Where are you? Balatro. Okay. I'm gonna knock Balatro down to a 4.5 because it's just not in that. It's just not in that tier. On an objective standard, sure, maybe it's a 5 out of 5, but we're beyond objective. I mean, 3D pinball space cadet, you know. Where were we? So yeah, Devil May Cry 4. Okay, what's this kid's name? Nero. When it comes to Nero, I think his combat system is fine. I think it's I just don't see how you can really. Now, of course, you'll go on a YouTube video and see someone doing insanely crazy stuff with Nero, but for me personally, I thought it was way too simple. There wasn't as much depth to it initially. Now, of course, you can, as I said, you can go on YouTube and find people doing crazy combos with Nero, but from a layman like playing the game for the first time, he's fine. Dante was by far more interesting, but Dante's levels suck. They're just the same levels as Nero in reverse order. So it has some issues, but again, the combat's still so good. Even if it's not fantastic in Nero's case, I think a 7's fair. I'll go ahead and talk about DMC Devil May Cry. I thought this game was really good. I was really surprised because all you hear is people say, "Oh, this game sucks. It changed so much." Sure, it did. And this version, DMC, the original, the definitive edition, added a couple things. And this game probably is objectively better, but I played this version because this one's only on PS4 and Xbox One. I played this on Steam. So there's no lock-on mechanic in this game, which is important for Devil May Cry because locking onto an enemy opens up other attacks. Because simply running backwards and locking on and moving backwards opens up, it's two different attacks. Like locking on, holding back, plus attack is usually your launcher. But it's different in this game. And the combat is certainly simplified, but this has some of the coolest level design and just world design I've ever seen in a video game. Like the whole vision of, I think it's in Limbo, is so sick. The music is really good. Again, the art direction's insanely, it's insane. I think it's a fantastic game. The thing is, the story really sucks. I could not care. Up to this point, I watched every cutscene, and then I started skipping during this game. But again, could you convince me to get it up to like a? It's close to like an 8. I'd give it like a 7.4 is what I'd give this. Super good game. But DMC 5, I played it originally on PS4, but for the marathon, again, I played all these back to back, including DMC, but this is the one I ended on. This is probably a top 10 or top 15 video game for me all time. I got the platinum in this game on PS5, which, if you know anything about this game's platinum, it is super tedious. It's not, people will say it's hard, that's a skill issue, but it is tedious. You have to beat every mission on every difficulty and get an S rank every single time. And there's a difficulty called Hell in Hell, where, you know, enemies have health as if they were on hard mode, but you have 1 hit and you have 3 revives. But the way to beat if you want to get an S rank on these missions on this difficulty, you essentially can't get hit. There are a couple missions where you could, but again, 80% of the missions you could not get hit. Now Dante's missions are no problem. V's missions were not too bad because Dante has the hat, which can just destroy anything in the game. But hey, Nero, you need to be good at the game to S rank Nero, and there is one Dante mission 10, which probably is the hardest to S rank, because the hat, like, sure, you can just go through the whole thing without getting hit, but you still need to build up style. And and the hat does not build up a lot of style. But the styling system, I can get into the whole talk about the styling system and how it works. But again, just back to the game. I think Dante as a character in this game has the best combat mechanics in any game ever. His toolkit is so diverse. Every weapon is so deep. Again, there's so much expression with Dante. The way I play him will be different than the way you play him. He is so cool. And again, the story's really good. V is a decent addition. The first playthrough, he's cool because it's like, oh, I'm just controlling minions. By the time you're on the 7th playthrough, you're like, oh my god, can we get this over with? But again, on your first playthrough, V is cool. And one of my last playthroughs was the Virgil playthrough. Virgil is a super sick character. His moveset is really cool. Not as diverse as Dante's, but just as technical. But yeah, DMC 5, top 15 game definitely for me, all time. Okay, Diablos. It's funny, I'm kind of doing a marathon for this. I'm not playing the first one, I don't care to, but I just beat 2 and 3. Diablo 2, pleasantly surprised. I probably shouldn't have been. I give it a 4, which is what most people give it. I don't think it's perfect by any means. Again, I think Path of Exile 2, little spoiler warning, is my favorite ARPG of all time. Even though it's just in beta, it was so much fun. But Diablo 2, I feel like this game, at least the way I played it, and I played a Paladin, and I did Hammerden, which is like your Holy Hammer attack. I did that over and over again. I just spec'd in the Holy Hammer. I feel this game is just such a numbers check game. There's not a lot of expression you can do skill wise. You either have enough numbers, your numbers are either high enough to win or they're not. And that's fine because this game does that really well. But I don't know. I'm thinking back on it, like a 4.5 could maybe be, it's closer to a 4.5 than a 4, which means you're like, okay, well, why not make it a 4.5? I don't know. Something's telling me not to do it. But again, I thought it was really fun. If you get it for cheap, surely I recommend it. And again, this game's infinitely replayable, so that's something else you can going for it. Diablo 3 I just played through. Okay, it's not nearly as good as Diablo 2, let's be honest. I didn't do a lot of the, again, for neither of these games I did late game content. This is based on a single campaign run. Diablo 2 was definitely more fun. Diablo 3 was fine, but man, at some point I felt it was just a slog playing through this game. It wasn't particularly difficult, but it was still fun, so I can't be too harsh on it. But I don't know, I would rather play Diablo 2 again than Diablo 3, let's just say that. Diablo 4, I will play this soon. It's the last one I need to play. I'm looking forward to it. I did play it a little bit close to launch. My dad is a huge Diablo and Blizzard fan. He's been playing World of Warcraft since it released. Same thing with Diablo. He's played every Diablo and he loves Diablo 2. But he got this and I played on his account. I made a character. It was fun enough, but I'll play through it eventually. Dicey Dungeons, this is a recent playthrough. Probably not a fair review, but I don't know. I didn't think the mechanics were worth exploring. I thought they were, I don't know. I kind of thought this game was a little boring. Maybe played about 3 hours of it before I just kind of gave up. I don't plan on coming back to it. I did not complete it, that's for sure. But check it out if you're interested in roguelike. And again, this is 2019, so you can't say, oh, it's just following trends. It's been around for a while. Diddy Kong Racing, love this kart racing game. Did I beat the? Yes, I have beaten this. Again, I think it's, is it better than Mario Kart? I don't think it's better than Mario Kart 8 or Double Dash, but all the other ones, yeah, I'd rather play Diddy Kong Racing. Can't say much about it. I think it controls great. Really cool single player mode too. That's another thing. This has a great single player mode. That's what I beat. Yeah, definitely worth it. Disco Elysium, played this last year, I think. I remember I tried it originally. That is a crazy distribution, by the way. Aside from the controversy, okay, I don't know what that is, but yeah, again, you need to be ready to play this game. You need to know what you like. If you don't like reading walls of text, which is totally fine, do not play this game. This game is reading. This is reading the video game. But if you're willing to read through those walls of text, there is a super cool story here. The whole concept of your stats being parts of your mind is so cool, and the fact that they all talk to you and tell you what they're thinking. Choices in this game do matter. Fantastic game, fantastic. Probably one of the best RPGs I've played, CRPGs especially. The Dishonored series, okay, yeah. Dishonored Definitive Edition got all the achievements in this, and to this day it is still like 4 of my 5 hardest achievements came from this game on Xbox One. And it's just because there are trials in the DLC. I forgot what the DLC is called, but man, they were so brutal and so tough. And like on true achievements, they are 4 of my 5 of the hardest are from those trials alone. But the game itself, I love Dishonored. Especially close to when it came out. I remember playing this close to launch, and I fell in love with this game. I must have beaten it genuinely 8 or 9 times before I put it down for the first time. Came back about 2 years ago, beat it and Death of the Outsider. I've not played 2 again yet. But yeah, awesome stealth game. And the whole like chaos mechanic is, you know, it's superficial. It doesn't really matter that much from what I've played. But some of the best stealth levels in a game that allow you to, and like people will say this has like, this is an immersive sim. It has immersive sim elements in the sense that you can choose how you tackle your objectives. There's always a lethal and non-lethal option. And it's fun figuring out how to make those non-lethal options work, because they're always harder to do. And some of them involve never seeing the actual person. And of course, one of the cooler ones is the ballroom, or no, the party. Again, dude, there's so many good missions in this game. It's such an awesome game. There's the party with the 3 chicks who look the same. One's in red, one's in white, one's in black, and one of them is your target, and you have to figure out which one. But one of them has your actual target has a stalker, and he knows which one is the correct one, and he offers to like, you have to tell her that there's a plot to assassinate her and that someone will save her, and she believes you, and he takes her away. You have no idea what happens to her. You give her to the stalker, but it's a non-lethal option. Awesome game. Dishonored Death of the Outsider, I don't remember too much from Death of the Outsider. I remember one of the achievements was beating the game with like a certain moral standing and 10,000 like gold or whatever it's called, and that was tough because it was hard to get 10,000 gold in this game. But I think I did, whoops, I made this mistake last time. When did I mark when I beat this? No, I didn't. I played this on Xbox One. Don't remember too much of it, but again, I'm sure 4 out of 5 is perfectly fine. God, okay, I need to look at, I'm actually kind of concerned I don't remember too much about Death of the Outsider. Hold up, let's look at some gameplay and see if it sparks something. The bank heist. What mission's this? Have I played this? Wait.
Where do you think you're going?
Wait, have I played this?
Started with the first disarm at will. Take it to safety. Area. To knock people out and steal their faces. It's an interesting ability with some gorgeous visual effects.
I haven't played this. Hold on. What am I thinking of? Destroy. I like that. Wait, whoa. Am I thinking of Brigmore Witches? Hold up. I have to figure this out. Because there's the Knife of Dunwall DLC. It's in the definitive edition. The Brigmore Witches. I know the first mission.
As the driven
Years.
Well, I remember the last mission. I think it was that. Oh yes. Okay, this is what I'm thinking of. The Brigmore Witches. Okay, I'm so glad. I've not played Death of the Outsider. I'm thinking of the Brigmore Witches DLC. Okay, Dishonored 2. I played this on Xbox One, beat it on Xbox One. I did one playthrough really quickly. I think I played as Corvo. I don't think I played as, I think her name's Emily, the second. Sure, Emily. I remember it not being as good as 1, but still, it's Dishonored. I'm sure I'll play this again recently, and especially I'll now play Death of the Outsider. But I feel comfortable with the 4 out of 5. Chicken Little. This is actually a pretty fun 3D like action platformer. This dude's crazy. This person's crazy. This person's crazy. Everyone's crazy. I'll admit, I haven't played it since like 2007 probably. But I remember, there's like a mission where you get to drive the car around the city. That was really fun. But again, I mainly remember the first 2 missions, which is him trying to get to school. And then once you're at school, you have to do some shit. And then there's like the whole baseball game. But this is purely a childhood pick. I remember it being fun though. Divinity Original Sin 2. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I don't know if that's... I never left the original island. I think I got really close to leaving the first area. So I'm actually going to revoke my rating. But again, I got to the end of the first area. I don't know. It never really hooked me. Original Sin 2, like Baldur's Gate 3 did. There's DMC. Donkey Kong Country. I've only played the first one. We'll get to the end of this and then we'll call it that for this video. Donkey Kong Country. I played it relatively recently, maybe within the last 4 years. I remember it being fun, and then I got to the caves, and I think I had trouble with the caves, and I kind of like fell out of it at that point. But again, it was fun. Like there wasn't anything really wrong with it, but I didn't see anything special in the original. Now, of course, I've heard 2 is the best, so maybe I'll try that at some point. Donut County, super simple game. You're a hole in the wall. You control this hole. You swallow small things to become a bigger hole, and you swallow bigger things. It's simple. It's fun. Super easy to get all the achievements in. Okay, all the Doom games. So these are both Doom 2016. What's the difference? PS4, Xbox One, Switch. Okay, very well. There we go. So the original Doom, everyone's played the original Doom. I hope you can play it on a browser if you wanted to. It's fun. It's simple. You kind of have to pay homage to its importance, but that's not really factored into this. It is a really fun game, however simple it is. I'll do Doom 3 next. I kind of like Doom 3. A 3 is the least scary horror game and least fun action game. Okay, J-Dub. I remember playing this and thinking it was actually a pretty decent horror game because it's dark as shit. Now, of course, the original, you had to switch between your flashlight and your weapon. You couldn't hold them at the same time. I may have played this version. I don't know. It's been a while, but I did play it in VR recently. There's a VR port of this, and that was pretty fun. But based off what I've played, it's nothing special. Perfectly fine video game. Doom 2016, of course, we know the importance it had. The only reason I'm not giving it a 5 is because I know Doom Eternal exists. Does it deserve a 5? Maybe. Before the Dark Ages comes out, I'll play this in Eternal again, and I'll see if this deserves a 5 or not. But again, this kind of, I mean, this really, the whole boomer shooter subgenre is because of this game and just how popular those have become, and especially among the indie scene. Fantastic game, great vibe, and I have some friends who say this is better than Eternal, and their reasoning is purely because this feels like a better Doom game. And it's like, if you want to say that, sure, but the better video game is Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is probably a top 20 game all time for me. I think it's the best first person shooter of all time. So much fun. Every single arena is like a chess match where you're constantly switching weapons. Every enemy, except for this guy, I never figured out how to beat. I think they're Marauders is what their name is. But every enemy has a weakness, so you're constantly switching weapons and picking weapons you normally would never use in order to hit these weaknesses on these enemies. And it just works. It's fast, it's fluid, and like it, I don't know, it's a fantastic game. It's awesome. I've not played the Ancient Gods expansion. I really do want to, and I may when I play this again. Downwell, played this for a little bit. I thought it would be easy to get all the achievements in this. It is not. It is a super difficult game. Simple concept. This is a well, and you're just going down it, but you can click to shoot bullets from your gun, and it slows you down, and you're trying to avoid obstacles along the way. Simple concept. I thought it was fine, but once I figured out it was going to be hard to get all the achievements in it, I gave it up. Dragon Age Inquisition, I played this 2015, I think. I was bored out of my mind playing this game. I gave up after you got to like the castle. I think that's when I gave up. I don't know how this won Game of the Year for 2014. Didn't like Bayonetta 2 come out in 2014? Let me check. But okay. But yeah, Dragon Age Origins, I would not recommend. Yeah, this should have won Game of the Year for 2014. Either this or Shadow of Mordor. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I didn't think the combat was fun. I did not think the characters were interesting. The world was super boring to explore. A 2 out of 5 may be generous now that I'm thinking about it, but I never beat it. Fighters is my favorite fighting game of all time, and I'm not a big fighting game head. I played a lot of Tekken 8. I've played a lot of Fighters, and I think that's it. Of course, I've dabbled in other fighting games, but none of them have really hit like Fighters, and I was really good. I played this in 2019. The majority of my time was in 2019. I was pretty damn good too. But yeah, awesome fighting game. It's super fast. There's like no downtime. People criticize it because there's no neutral game, but it's like, okay, then say it to my face. And you know, you're constantly in their face. And sure, there's no neutral, but the combos are so enjoyable to hit. The characters rock. The game looks amazing. Yeah, it's my favorite. Probably the fighting game I played the most. 3 out of 5. Okay, that's your typical gamer right there. Oh, here's all the Dragon Ball games. Oh, we'll go with this one next. Legacy of Goku. This game sucks. It's on Game Boy Advance. It is like unfairly difficult. You cannot get hit on the first level. If you get hit on the first level, you will not beat the boss. This game was horrible. Okay, now people are spitting. 3 half stars in a row. That should tell you what we're dealing with. Who gave this a 5? Satan? Okay. Okay. But yeah, this game sucks. Apparently, like 2 and Boo's Fury is really good. So, I may check it out. I won't. Budokai 3, and then we'll go into the Tenkaichis. Budokai 3, it's not like Tenkaichi where you can just roll over the map. It's more like a traditional fighting game. And I remember, I don't know if I should really rate this game. I did not play a lot of Budokai 3. I played a bit of Budokai 3 and Shin Budokai, which is the PSP game. It was fun. I didn't have any issues with it per se. And again, I was a total, I didn't look into like combos or anything. I wasn't hitting major combos in this game, but it was fun. It was entertaining. Maybe drop it down to a 3.5. Tenkaichi 2, I played a little bit, but then I knew I really wanted to play Tenkaichi 3. This game rocks. It's the most I've spent on a video game. I spent $220 in total on this game, and it was worth it. I'm not coping. Easily the best opening theme out of all DB games, in my opinion. Even a 3 out of 5. The dude's not played this video game, but God, it is. The combat is like deceptively deep. It is, and I don't know. Just the way I can express it is just the vibe of this game. You're just beating the shit, or getting the shit beat out of you in these fights, and it just feels like I don't know. It feels like a Dragon Ball fight. The combat's great. There are destructible environments in this game, which is really, really cool. But yeah, I spent so many hours just in like versus mode, not even in the story mode, just in versus mode. Now training mode can only help so much because this game, again, is pretty deep. But man, awesome fighting game. If you want to classify it as a fighting game, quote unquote, it's also one of my favorites, up there with Fighters. Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu. Hey, this game looked like it was made on the N64. Don't let it fool you. This is one of the best workouts you can have in VR. You are wailing your arms 24/7 in this game, just beating the shit out of everyone, and it's pretty fun. This game has no user ratings. There's only 3 reviews. They mention, no, they think they're IGN. But yeah, super fun VR game, great workout. Dragon's Dogma, played maybe the first 3 hours and dropped it. I don't remember why. I think it's because I kept dying. This game's like hard. I'll come back to it at some point. Dragon's Dogma 2 was my most anticipated game of 2024 going into it, and then it launched and it had all these issues on PC, so I never picked it up. But once it's on a deep sale, I think I will, and I'll play Dragon's Dogma 2. Will I play Dark Arisen? Maybe. I don't know. Dusk, again, this is another boomer shooter. I like this game. The art style is really cool. It's really fast. It's one of those games where if you move faster going up and like moving diagonally instead of just moving straight up. It's just Quake. I haven't played Quake 1. I do need to, but yeah, really cool game. Lots of secrets you're trying to constantly find. Dying Light 1 and 2. Dying Light 1, I played this game twice. Didn't beat it either time. The second time, I think I got really close to the end. Again, I've never beaten it. I really like this game. I thought the parkour was really fun. The RPG quote unquote mechanics, which is just like geared loot. That's a better way to put it. Just your geared loot was a fun enough system. And I like how you don't get the grappling hook until like halfway through the game, but I don't know if it's halfway through, maybe a third. But yeah, really fun game. The second one, I think I need to give this one another shot. I played maybe 6 hours of it and put it down. I gave it a 3, but I've seen videos on like some of the parkour in this game, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I've kind of reimagined my thoughts on it based on that. I think I need to give this another shot, but for now it's just at a 3 out of 5. Oh yeah, College Football 25. I played this game a decent amount. I played the Dynasty mode. I wanted to do Ultimate Team, but the Ultimate Team sucked at launch. I don't know how it is now. I used to be a big Ultimate Team guy in FIFA. That was like my thing in high school, but it kind of sucked. Luckily, the Dynasty mode, it's not deep. It's not deep at all, but it's a college Dynasty mode, which I've never played before. I haven't played NCAA 14. I've not played 06. I have 06, but again, this has modern day players. So at least initially, of course, 4 years in, it's people it's people that don't exist, but it's fun enough. It's a fun game. Not much else to say. FC24, I did play a little bit of this actually. I got into the Ultimate Team, played it for a decent amount. It was fine. Nothing too grand. Okay, Elden Ring. One of the first top 5 game of all time for me. I think if we're talking on an objective scale, what did I give Erd Tree? That's fair. Oh, is that next? Yeah, okay. Elden Ring, when we're talking objectively about video games, which is tough to do, but if we are to rank games objectively, I think this has to be in the conversation for like top 3 objectively best games of all time. The world is so dense. It is so unique. There are so many enemy types. There are so many weapons. There are so many magic spells. There's really interesting lore. The combat, although not like not 10 out of 10. I'm not going to say the combat is like a 10 out of 10 aspect, but it's really, really fun. And it mainly benefits from the diversity of skills and weapons and boss design. Again, the world is so big, it's so beautiful, it has fantastic art direction. Again, like all around, it is like, it's close to a perfect game. It just is. I played it on launch. I put 90 hours into it within like a week and got all the achievements. Like, this is, if we're talking objectively, I think it's a top 3 game all time. Objectively, for me personally, it sits at number 4. Subjectively, it sits at number 4. And we'll get, and the top 3 are purely nostalgia picks, but I mean, if we don't throw that away, this may be my favorite game of all time, like purely speaking. And then Shadow of the Erdtree I played on Steam Deck in Japan last summer because I didn't have my PC with me, obviously. And again, it's like I was playing the game over again. It's a huge world, and again, the same praises I just sang for Elden Ring are true for Shadow of the Erdtree, if, of course, Elden Ring was a third of the size. One of the best DLCs of all time, one of the best expansions of all time. Again, I've not played The Witcher 3's DLCs. I've not played Cyberpunk's DLC yet, but I would ponder a guess that this would still be in top 3 discussions, even including those 2 if I have played them before. But yeah, same praises can be sung for this as in Elden Ring. Funnily enough, Erdtree has one environment that I've never seen in any From Software game, or at least any like Souls-like From Software games, where it's like and like minor spoilers, it's pretty late in the game, but like an overly saturated, really bright forest area close to the end of Erdtree. Like, I've never seen that before in like a Soulsborne game or in any kind of like Souls-like, and it was just so cool seeing it. I'm gonna pull it up. Shadow of the Erdtree forest area. I don't think it's Madness Forest. No, it's like super Ruins of Rhea. That's what it's called. It's not. I lied. That's not what that's called. Hold on. Okay, now that I've spent this much time on it. Ancient Ruins of Rhea. Yeah, this is it. But I mean, like, you get into this, look at this. You've never seen like a From Software or like any kind of Soulsborne or any kind of Souls-like game have a really like brightly lit forest area. And it was so cool, like finding this in the game. And it's like densely forest in some areas. But yeah. Any other examples? No. But yeah, sure. Erdtree, awesome video game. Don't have to spend too much time talking about it. The Elder Scrolls games, Morrowind. I'm gonna be honest, this is a peer pressure. I've not played enough of this to rate it. What I have played of it though, I did really enjoy. I like the fact that there's not quest markers constantly telling you where to go. Do I have to edit my log to edit this? Maybe. I like the fact that the game can be broken. It kind of encourages you to break it. The environments that I went through were interesting enough, but again, kind of having to really engage with the characters you're talking about to make sure you're going in the right direction, I really enjoyed. Oblivion, I played a lot when I was younger, maybe like 10 or 11 years old. Funnily enough, I beat the Shivering Isles DLC. I thought it was super sick. What's his name? Wabbajack? Or is that his, like, that might be his staff? I don't know. Oh, no. It starts with, it's like a oh, I forgot his name. Like the demon of the King of Madness or whatever his name is. But Oblivion, I love this game. It has been a while since I've played it, but I played it on PS3. I don't think I ever beat it, but I went to so many dungeons, so many extra areas, and yeah, I don't know. It's just it's my first Elder Scrolls game I played, so it was really special to me as a kid. Damn, 3 5-stars in a row. Okay. And then Skyrim, I love Skyrim. I played it on launch, I think. Really awesome game world. Just walking through Skyrim is fun in and of itself. I enjoyed the combat on a first playthrough. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much today. Now, I'm not ranking the VR version of this game. The VR version is just as good if you mod it. It's so much fun in VR, but sticking to, again, the VR version, I'd also give a 5 out of 5. The original, yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? An awesome game world, pretty interesting side quests, and the main story I remember having fun with. And that final, I don't know if it's the final area, but where there's like the really detailed like nebular sky, and you're fighting the dragon with the 3 other warriors. That was so sick. But yeah, Skyrim, I'll give that a 5 out of 5 any day. Enslaved Odyssey to the West, I want to go back and play this. I played the demo a ton as a kid, then I actually got my hands on the game and didn't get very far. But if you look up like top 10 underrated games, especially like 5 or 10 years ago, this game always made the list. That's what kind of drew me to it, and I love the demo, so I hope to check this out one day further. Enter the Gungeon's probably my favorite roguelike. It was also my first, so that could be the reason why. But again, I really liked I don't know, I simply enough, I just liked all the guns and how unique they were. And sure, there are probably more advanced roguelikes out there with deeper mechanics than this. Like there's like Noida, for example, which we'll talk about Noida. Not too fondly. Enter the Gungeon though, it was my first one. I had a ton of fun playing it. If I were to replay it, I would actually not wager it go down too much, maybe to an 8, or maybe it may stay at a 9. But I beat it multiple times with multiple different characters, tried to get as many secrets as I could as well. But yeah, really fun game. Tarkov, I love Tarkov. I have not put like 400 hours into it. I've maybe put, I could look it up, but if I had to guess, maybe 50 hours into Tarkov. And there really is nothing like it. And people will oh yeah, here's my review. There's nothing else like it. Sure enough. This is so funny, but right below mine, escape from Tarkov players be like, yeah, it's slow and shitty and developers suck, but there's nothing else like it, and they don't try any other extraction shooter. What other extraction shooters are there? There's like Delta Forces. What else is doing an extraction shooter? Am I crazy? Sorry, shooters. Quasimorph? I mean, I guess Quasimorph is. That's not a first-person like intense action shooter. That's a what would you? It's a top-down 2D game, and it looks cool. Sure. Dark and Darker apparently is mid. Oh yeah. There's Hunt. I've never played Hunt. I'll admit it. I've not played it. Arc Raiders. I am excited for Arc Raiders because it's the Finals developers. Gray Zone Warfare. I haven't heard of this. Zero Cybert, I've not heard of. Marauders, maybe I've heard of this. Hold on. What else is there? Yeah, there's like Dark and Darker, sure. Quasimorph, I mean, I guess if you want to call it that. Marauder. Oh, this is the like the space one that's in space. Yeah, exploring space to gather resources. You go from ship to ship. This game actually looks pretty interesting. I'll admit it. Zero Cybert, I mean, okay. Deceive Inc, no. EFT at 3. Deep Rock, that's not really an extraction shooter. Because you don't lose anything you go in with. And then Hunt, fair enough, I haven't played Hunt. But okay, we're getting off tangent. Tarkov is so much fun. There's nothing like risking everything you're going in with. Now, I suck at the game, so I always lose it. I've gotten used to losing everything I go in with. But man, it's still just a thrill every single time. Dying sucks, but when you extract, I don't know, if you feel like you really won. Yeah, I love Tarkov. The Escapist, I played this a while ago, a long time ago, but I think I beat like the first prison area, then I couldn't figure out how to get past the second one. If I had to rate it, probably like a 3 to 3.5. I watched like someone else do it, someone who like knew how to play the game, go through all the prisons, and it looked cool, but again, I haven't played it enough. 2K5 is my favorite, and is my favorite football game, I think. I don't know, there is NFL Blitz, but simulation football, there is like NFL, there's ESPN, no, there's 2K All Pro 2K8, which people say is better gameplay, but I mean, in terms of presentation, gameplay, dynasty mode, this game has it all. It is so much fun. The dynasty mode is so deep. The presentation's awesome. They had a contract with ESPN, as you can see here, and they got all the main guy at ESPN at the time. I have no idea what his name is. He did all the voice work, and there was like, you'd be playing a game and they show highlights from another game, and the dude would commentate on it like live. It's so sick, such a sick sports game. Okay, we'll stop there. I think that's fine. I have no idea how long I've been going on for. The last one went on for an hour, over an hour 20. So we'll stop here for now and pick up at the next episode.